flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Pete Somerville, Town Councilman.
Ed Arkin, Town Councilman.
John Dolce, Town Supervisor.
Randy Bates, Town Councilman.
Brian Wood, Town Councilman.
Victoria Quaker, Town Clerk.
Okay, audience comments. Audience comments? Yes, sir.
Not to tie everybody up, but, so my name's Charlie McCardle. I was here in October. I own, Highview Farms, which is on 358. And when I was here in October, I mentioned that we had applied for a cannabis micro business license. So I'm here tonight because we did get the license. There was 7,000 applicants. They gave out 108 licenses, different style licenses, but we will be in the first group. I have read the minutes from the meetings since I've been here, and I know that some people had some questions or maybe some concerns about the farm, so I'm just here if anybody has any questions.
Do me a favor, Charlie. Stand up so I can hear you.
Yeah, no worries.
I got you.
So, I was here in October and I explained, I tried to introduce myself, that we had applied for a cannabis micro business license. Since then, we haven't been awarded that license, and I read the minutes of a meeting since I was here, and it appeared that some people might have had some questions or some concerns about the farm. So I wanted to come tonight to see if there were any questions.
So explain the purpose of the farm. What is,
So the farm it's multiple purpose. So we sell hay, we plan on selling vegetables on a farm stand level, but we do have right now we have actually a hemp license to grow and process hemp. We're moving forward with the cannabis license, which means that the micro business license means you can grow it, you can process it, and you can sell it. Okay, I understand that currently the town of Rensselaerville has opted out of the retail portion. I would make the argument that we're not considered a dispensary because a dispensary sells other people's products. We would be selling our own only. Right now, I don't even think it's worth an argument because we have nothing that we've grown. So we probably wouldn't be back to the town board to have them maybe consider some sort of opting in or preparing, I guess, what their code would be if they decide to opt in. Or I think by then, a year from now, this argument or this discussion about does a micro business fit into a dispensary or not would come up again in 2025. But currently, we plan on this spring planting and growing, amongst other things, cannabis on the property.
and then how do you sell it?
So we actually can sell to dispensaries, which is clearly what's going to happen if we don't get some sort of agreement worked out with the town of Rensselaerville. And again, by the way, County Road 358, if I'm not on it, really, she's not on it, nobody goes by there. It's not like it's a hot spot to be.
What number are you on there?
Excuse me?
Where are you on?
So it's 126, 358 in Medusa.
The old Gifford Farm.
Oh, okay.
With,
Old Newton Farm. Down in the dip.
On the right, you're not far off of Fox Creek.
Gifford was a dairy farm back in the day. It was subdivided. For many years, there was a gentleman, Richie Schneider, that lived on the property. We ended up, my father owns 107, my family owns 170 acres off Lewisdale. This 20 acres borders the family property. So it went through foreclosure. The county had it, then it went to the Albany County Land Bank, and we ended up buying it through the land bank. I also own 60 acres on Kenyon Road, which it's a 60 acres, it just has a private home on it at this point.
Charlie, what's your last name?
It's McCardle, MC, capital ARDLE.
So just to give you a little background on the opt-in, opt-out thing, we had a public hearing whether to opt in or opt out. And this goes back to my strong belief that the people have to be involved in government, right? And the room was packed. And when we started talking about it, the room was packed with people that were pro cannabis and we should have it and do all this other stuff. And then we had the public hearing as to whether to opt in or opt out. And the room was packed with people that didn't want us to opt into the law. And so as a board, kind of hard sitting here with 30 people out in the audience who are all saying we don't want it, and not one person that said that we want it. So just so you understand, you're not fighting against us. It's just, you have to do your homework. And we actually decided that we were going to table it for a year and we would revisit it. So the possibility is there. I mean, the thought of you doing business and then having to wholesale your stuff out so that somebody else can sell it and get that is annoying to me. Whether I support the use of cannabis or not, it's legal, right? So it's like me not being a drinker and we have our own microbrews. We got to sell them over to Westerlo so that they can sell it. That's just stupid.
I read some of the history of it, and what happened in this township has happened in numerous townships throughout the state. There's a stigma to it. I'm a retired detective. I was in law enforcement, my whole career. And I mentioned it the other day when I was here a couple months ago. I have 4 kids. One's a city fireman, one's a pharmacist, one is into cannabis, and one's a cop. So I kind of support them all. And when it became legal, like I used to argue with them all the time. Like underage drinking, you argue with your kids all the time. It's not legal, it's not legal. And now he turns around and he says, okay, now it's legal. We have the property, let's do it right. So we submitted for the permit. Again, the 7,000 applicants.
Yeah.
109 were issued. We were in the first group.
Good for you.
Look, your comprehensive plan, I know it's 20 years old, but 2007, all it talks about throughout the whole plan talks about encouraging farming, saving the rural part of this. You have Vista taxes. The whole place was geared, the whole plan was geared to saving what you have. Dairy farms are not going to be around long. I don't know if
We only
Lewis
have
is
one.
what's that?
We only have one.
Lewis's.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if they didn't have their own family working, they wouldn't have it. The Giffords failed, and I can tell you why. They had 2 girls and only 1 boy, Lewis's had 2 boys, so they sustained.
They have 2 girls, 2.
I know 4 generations of the Lewis's. I know,
I think
but
they
I'm
would
just
probably
saying,
argue with you that they work as hard too. But
nobody works harder than
Yeah.
them. And I agree. But so the plan is to keep farming, to keep the rural thing. Farming's changing.
Yeah.
And I don't think you're gonna see too many new dairy farms. But if you want to keep what the plan is, then, look, we can grow no matter what. One day the argument will be, can we sell it or not here? And again,
And that's my question, how would you sell it?
it would be, so my son's dream would be to do a farm stand, have goats, have, baked pies. They have the whole term, and it's in your plan is, agricultural tourism to bring people, to stop and shop locally.
Right, but
So,
that's what I believe, I have a hard time comprehending.
Go ahead.
Everything up here is done on the honor system. So we're gonna go bag of weed there and somebody.
no, they'll be working the farm
That's
stand.
that's the question.
So
John wants to
during
know
the
if we can pull up to your house in a truck, we bring out a bag.
You just roll down the window this far.
And cash out the window.
No, and again, look, we don't expect to have it to be that popular, but that's their dream. They want to make it more of a, and again, it's in the plan. Like you pick them, they want to do grapes, they want to do apples, they want to do, and part of it, and we think to sustain it would be the cannabis part of it. Again, I don't see any new dairy farms coming out,
So I don't disagree, but I just don't understand. I think that's what everybody has a hard time with.
So it's similar to a liquor store. I saw somebody mention, hey, what if a kid rides up to the farm stand? When I tell you how documented everything is, it blows your mind. I think I'm a fairly smart person, and they have the software is called Seed to Sale. We have to document every seed, barcode every plant, and we have to explain where every plant went. And the same thing with the sale. It has to be someone over 21, their license has to be scanned, and then the sale is documented from that barcode to that license barcode, and that's the sale. So I would tell you, we went through all of this. There's no way we're gonna risk our license by doing a sale to somebody that's not old enough. And again, I don't anticipate it, at this point in the next few years, I don't anticipate it being an issue whether we can sell on site or not. But it's what what the future is gonna be.
So locally, there was someone, well, there is someone that grows group hemp. And I went to his facility. And it was like, and I think I brought this up to him, it was like a clean room, all sorts of money. You can't plant outside because if a fly drops on this plant, it's contaminated. Is that, why is this different than his
So,
process?
so I'm not sure who you're talking about, but I know there's a gentleman right on my corner that has the wooden fence that grows hemp. He actually had his conditional, it was a stepping stone to get your cannabis license, let's be serious. The hemp world was to do CBD oils, to get the oils for, rubs and oils, whatever it was. That was the original goal. But the bottom line was, it was this, so the state could see if you could regulate and be in compliance for the next step, which is the cannabis. There's multiple different licenses. You can grow it, you can process it, you can sell it. So if you're growing it in a greenhouse, the seeds are $5, $6, $8 a piece. You're gonna be on top of what you're growing because it's the money right there. If you grow it outside, we grew hemp outside, it did fairly well, and that's what we're gonna do again. So you grow it outside, you harvest it, you dry it, and then you take the buds, you either send them to a processor or you process them yourselves, and then you sell them. And they're barcoded and it's regulated and,
Okay.
it's not like, so which cow gave how much milk, it's definitely very complicated. But anyway, I just wanted to bring myself back. I know there were some questions, I don't know what to say. It's just, again, we got the license. I want to be transparent. If anybody on this board ever has any questions, she has my email. We communicate all the time. Tim was here. He's, I talk to Tim all the time. We're putting up a deer fence. I spoke to him.
So this, again, farm stand, it's gonna be indoors?
So the first year of the farm stand, it'll be more like a hay wagon that we pull out with, sunflowers, whatever they grew that if they could sell it, that's what it would be. The first round won't have cannabis because we didn't come to an agreement. So I'm just keeping
So
the
second
communication.
round,
Second round, I need the board's approval to do it.
but it wouldn't be, no, I think that's what we have. The question is, it's not just gonna be on a hay wagon for anybody to purchase.
No,
Well, John, there's all types of laws when you get into that about security and
Yeah, there are.
and accountability, and just like selling alcohol. It's probably more complicated than selling alcohol. So, he'll have to change his business plan when and if we opt into the cannabis law.
Can I ask you a question? Charlie, when you first came, I researched that afterward. And it was quite clear that the micro business allowed you to sell a certain amount based on square footage on your property only, not to be sold to a dispensary.
we have a second part of that license, which is, we are allowed to. There were multiple parts of the license you can check off.
Okay.
So we can sell outside to a dispensary,
Okay.
but you're 100%
But
right,
not to the public.
not to the public.
Okay.
Has to
But you
go,
can sell it to the public on your property.
right.
And there was a square footage formula, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
It's a small amount.
But at that time, the only obligation you had to the town was that you notified them that you were doing it.
Correct.
You weren't asking for permission. You
I
were
was not.
notified. So where are we at now?
So I'm trying to be transparent and have a relationship with the board. So I'm here just to explain. We won't be selling anything in 2024 because it won't be ready.
Right.
So here I am in March, the end of March, just letting you know that this is what we're gonna do.
Okay, so this is a notification.
No, and again, I did notify the board, and I know the town attorney wrote to the Office of Cannabis Management. I don't know if they got a response.
They did.
Okay. But I also think that in the next 24 months, next 12 months, whatever this issue is will be resolved by people, that are outside of here. And again, I don't see it being a big profitable thing to sell on County Road, but
No.
you know, if they wanna do events, they want, you know, this all, you know, keeping
Yes.
things open.
Kind of strange that you're gonna pull up to a farm stand and say, give me 2 sunflowers, a cucumber,
And a bag of wheat.
a watermelon, and a bag of
2
wheat.
condoms. But what do you do when you pull up to a winery? You know, that they have micro breweries, they have wineries, it's almost the same setup. Yeah, they have maybe a barn or a building you go in to buy it, you know, there's one in Middleburg. I actually like going there, it's got a beautiful view, you go in, you can get a craft beer or a glass of wine and sit right outside, and it's a popular place, so.
Well,
Good luck.
I'm good, you've notified us, and we'll see where it
And
goes.
I think Brian's right, it's public opinion.
Oh, no, I get
Has to
it.
be clarified.
Look, I fought with him for years, till I saw the governor's picture on the paper and he said it's legal. And I'm like, now I have no argument with him, but, no, I get it. It's definitely a stigma. And it'll be there for a while, but
Yeah, I don't even know that I don't even know that one opinion outweighs the other. I just think it's a matter, literally, for me, it's a matter of who comes down here on the second or fourth Thursday and speaks up. You know what I mean? So, like, I really felt like there was probably board support at the time that we could have opted in, but when you have a public hearing,
But
and
with this micro business, we don't have to opt in or out.
by the way, the micro business I don't mean to interrupt, the micro business license came out after the opt-in or opt-out.
yeah,
And it was done because everybody, and you guys were 100% right, talked about the rollout being so bad, you're like,
Yeah.
let's just opt out.
Yeah.
Let's play this and see how it goes. And that's, a lot of municipalities did that. But the bottom line is they came out with this micro business license to offset everyone that lost all this money.
Yeah.
While all this was playing out.
Yeah.
And it's my opinion that it doesn't fit the opt-in.
so
or
whether we
opt-out.
opt in or opt out, you should still be able to sell on your property.
We're protected by the, right to phone law too. There's a lot of arguments going on. And again, I'm not arguing, I'm just talking.
Yeah.
So that's my goal.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Yep,
Thank you, Charlie.
Good luck.
Okay, any other audience comments, please? If not, we'll move on to the minutes. Any, well, I'll make the motion to accept the March 14th minutes on the regular meeting. I need a second.
A second.
All in favor?
I abstain.
Brian abstains. Okay, budget modifications and transfers. I have from unclassified revenue, $380.63 to miscellaneous equipment. Well, unclassified revenue, DA 02770 to miscellaneous equipment, DA 5130-22999. Jason, what was that?
That was sales crap.
Okay, scrap sale. And then, from sales of equipment, 02665, $23,910 into the truck fund, DA 5130-22450. And Jason, what did we sell for that?
So that was the backhoe and, the road widener and 16A. And we kept, 00 and we kept the road boom. The numbers were really low on those. I think we were
I
trying
didn't
to
agree to that.
We sell 00 in the
Around
fall.
the sign.
just before winter all screwed up.
What were they offering?
I think top bid was like $4,300 in 00. It's a run and driving truck, plowing away, ready to go. Once you get rid of it for that. So,
I'll move that we accept the budget transfers as you stated.
I'll second it.
And then John Dolce's and I,
You don't have to, you just do a vote. You don't have to do a roll call.
I'm sorry?
You don't have to do roll call, you just do a vote.
Okay. So let's start over.
I'll make a motion that we accept the budget transfers as you stated.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay. Vouchers and bills. Need a motion to
I'll make a motion that we pay all vouchers and bills.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, Jason wasn't here 2 weeks ago, so he's gonna present the report this
All
evening.
right, good evening, everybody. You'll find in your packet, you got the transfer station report. I won't bore you with the details there. We did have our renewal issue, so we're good for another 5 years to permit for the transfer station. So that paperwork. Also in the packet, you'll find there's some documentation on the parking lot, and what I propose we do for renewing parking lot. I would like to move forward with getting some quotes on this, if everybody's okay with that idea.
I think it's necessary, so I say two potholes out there, so let's,
My thoughts are for the main drive and the rear exit, that we would pull that existing blacktop up, that section of the area that's part 2, dig down 6 to 8 inches, put in fresh base, and then repave over top of it.
Where was that?
What's that?
What section is that?
I labeled it number 2, it's essentially in
Okay.
front of the transfer station.
So you got that.
Section 3 is currently not paved, but that's where all the employees park, we would add a little parking area there. And then section 1 would just be a overlay, 2-inch overlay, and we would fix a couple of the 4 locations prior to. This one section of parking lot down here in front of town hall really isn't in terrible condition, but it just seems like if we were there, it should all be done and finished.
Well, did you do any of the work?
Well, we would subcontract out the paving, we would provide the sweeping and any of the traffic control and any handwork if it's required.
When you remove the,
We would do all the prep work, yeah, so we would
Yeah, do
remove
that.
all the sub-base,
so basically just get it.
prep for
then they
paving,
would
correct.
come like that.
how did you remove the existing surface? I thought that they ground it.
Well, it can be ground, but this is primarily just oil and stone out back. We would probably just use the scat fires on the grader, grade it up, dig it out with the excavator down a few inches.
Do you have any idea by measuring off square footage, like?
I wrote down the tons and I didn't bring it. I believe it was close to 400 tons. I could be wrong.
So
Well, I believe I estimated, I thought it'd be probably between $80,000 and $90,000 to have the entire thing.
How do you estimate what you do?
What's that?
How do you estimate, like,
Well,
The
with our
town-
bid
your cost.
is, we get a bid price back for ton in place, right? So we can figure out the tonnage and then use that figure. However, with the parking lot, it doesn't really fall into our in-place bid spec because they can't put down as much tonnage, obviously, in a day. What are your thoughts, Randy?
Price wise, or
No.
the need is obvious.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah,
it's the-
I just roughed this out today, to be honest with you, just to give you guys something to go over. I can give you exact tonnage figures and stuff next time.
Yeah, I mean, the front out here, I mean, it's just chip seal.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing there to, you're just gonna overlay that, and in the back, you're gonna press it with, remove it into.
Yeah.
Mix the stuff, and then put a base down.
We've got the money.
And,
Well, this would be a general fund expense, because it's not a highway fund,
so,
right, that's why.
so, yeah. We just figure out, how do you calculate your cost for this area too, ripping that up and putting down to 6 inches?
Well, I think what we do is our cost, I think we can eat that cost of the 6 inches of pressure run out of the highway budget. I don't think that's gonna be an issue at all.
It's just the cost of the.
Yeah.
Of the, asphalt, and having it in place.
Sure, and I can get exact tonnage and get some quotes on what the actual figure would be.
Do you think,
The appropriate way probably to put it out to bid.
yeah, I mean, if it's $100,000, do we have $100,000 to spend on blacktopping the driveway?
And I think that's a high number, to be
It
honest.
seems
Well,
high.
fine, but I'd like to know if we could pay the high number, or do we have, I'm not opposed to doing it, but is it worth, I just worry like we do a lot of things. And I know we're good money-wise, but I don't wanna keep doing a lot of good things and then be short money-wise if it makes more sense to bond it, I mean, for a couple of years or something.
Well, I can get some accurate figure, we can put it out to bid and get accurate figures, then make a decision from there too.
Okay.
You know, I can put the rest of the bid specs together and have a bid ready for you guys for your next meeting, we can put the bid out for the parking lot. And go, and see how it comes back,
And then figure out how we pay for it.
and then figure if we wanna pay for it, and then if we do wanna move forward, how we wanna pay for it.
Okay.
I have another question, Jason.
Yes,
In front of the recycling building,
yes,
if we just put, like, instead of doing this big U.
Yep.
In front of the, what do you call the storage sheds there?
the cold storage buildings, yeah.
Those storage buildings, because the storage buildings are a major problem. Because the floor, the driveway is higher than,
Then the entrance of the facility, yeah.
so if we don't pave that section, so basically we have the people in front.
Yeah.
The driveways in front and the entrance from Fox Creek and out to, Barger Road.
Yeah.
So,
The thing is, John, we're gonna rip the existing asphalt out.
Right.
We're gonna drop the sub base, put in fresh base, and the asphalt layer will be at the same level it is currently. So there would be no change in regards to drainage.
Not gonna raise it up.
no, but I know, but that storage building is probably, the floor inside is probably a
Oh,
foot
it's
lower.
more than a foot. It's several feet lower.
If you fill it in
That's
with
that's a
crushed-
huge, you're not gonna resolve that with just changing the parking lot. I mean, that, there was a ton of fill that was brought in front of those buildings when they put in that.
Any
trim.
chance you could get that to pitch it so if the water runs away from there?
Well, it is pitched so the
Oh, it
water
is?
runs away. The only time we really have standing water in there is when we have,
And if you were to fill that in with crush and run, would it be too high
I
then
think
for
we
the ceiling?
lose too much height. Well, Right, you've been around those buildings a long time, right? I think.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about filling it in, but the cross bracing on the doors won't allow you to get any equipment in, because you wouldn't have the height of the building to get equipment in. So I mean,
So the question is, if we don't pave in front of that, we have the option still of doing something in the future and not ripping up the new pavement.
I just don't see an easy way to resolve it with the transfer station there and the.
Yeah.
And the grade that you
The
have.
option you would do would be build a new building, you wouldn't hurt the pavement.
I think you deal with the existing facility we have, and, it's been there a long time, it's operable for what we use it for.
it works now. I mean, the water doesn't run into the building. It's pitched away now. So the surface water.
The only time we had trouble was we had this culvert plug up, and we had a whole pile of water running there, but, during normal rainstorms, it's not an issue.
One thing, have you considered, I know I did at one time, was having one-way entrance to the recycling?
I haven't, no, but it's,
Because it's pretty chaotic on Saturdays with people coming in from 3 directions.
Yep.
Which is, there's been fender benders there and whatnot, and it's a concern with people walking back and forth and people driving. That's a concern, and the additional concern is the area between the highway employee entrance
Yep.
and the parking lot.
Yep.
People drive through there, and they're driving
Off the
literally 3 feet away from the door. They're stepping out of the building, and people are driving through there, going to recycling. And that's hazardous, I mean, certainly.
Yeah.
And I just thought that it might be more orderly to have it so that it's one way.
yeah, so it's like,
Entrance.
traffic enters from 357 and exits on the part of the road.
here.
Could put a cattle gate at the corner of the building?
Yeah, not have access to it.
Yeah, at all. Like you
Right.
come in here, and you go out by the salt shed.
It just seemed to be more
Or we could
orderly.
even make a point of just putting a few cones up on,
Well, we used to
Like-
cone it on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
It was just hazardous to step outside the.
I agree.
No, it's a good thought, very good thought.
So,
How come when you pave big ass areas, like, I know you can't do roads because people drive on them, but like, do you ever seal the driveway? Will we ever seal it? Like, do you take
This could be seal coated for sure in the future.
To protect it long
It
term?
could be oil and stone or.
Even if you did like one section, I mean, if you seal coated it on you got a company that would agree to come in and do it on a Sunday morning, it would be plenty dry by Wednesday when the dump opened up, and you could do that one. Then you could move cars off the front here or whatever. I'm just thinking you could do it in stages so that you can isolate yourself out. This is pretty
It's something that we could consider with new pavement for sure.
Okay, well, I'm good with it. I mean,
So I'll move
my
forward.
noise is-
I'll move forward with the bid specs, and I'll have some bids for you guys for.
Yeah.
for next time. All right, so I did submit the grant, to Albany County Soil and Water, requesting $40,000, which is the maximum. We have received that grant the last 2 years. That money would be used to update 23 culvert pipes on Hale Road. There's 14 cross pipes that are rotted out on Hale Road, and 3 of which are currently starting to collapse and need immediate attention. The rest of them are primarily driveway pipes. In addition to that, we would use the funding to add large stone fill to the 10 Mile Creek stream bank off of South Street, where we've lost some fill in the last few storms. We've already started the permitting process with, through DEC with that. And we would also use the money to pour a concrete bottom in a 5-foot culvert pipe on Torrentor Road. That is, the bottom is rotted out of it. We're starting to lose material around it. The only reason we were looking at possibly pouring a bottom in it is because it has some really well done concrete end walls, and I was gonna try to save the structure there. And then really, the bottom of the pipe was only rotted out about 12 inches in the bottom. So I think that's an option to try to save a few dollars. Currently, our chipper is down. Hoping to have it back together next week. The main shaft through the chipper has had a bearing fail and spun the shaft. Shaft was sent out to a machine shop to be welded up and cut down. Bearings are on order and new pulleys on order. Another concern we have is rodent problems. The mice have been atrocious ever since we canceled the exterminator. We've had mice in lots of pieces of equipment, mice in the building. I really think we need to address, I talked to John about it, and he's on board, but I think we really need to address hiring some sort of exterminating service again to do something. So, I mean, just last week we had a mouse nest in the Tucson excavator, we had a mouse nest in the roller, chewed a whole pile of wires. We had a mouse nest in the rollback truck, and they got into the,
Cat,
What did you say?
can we get a cat?
or a few. So I think it's something that needs to be
Yeah.
addressed, so.
I'll give you.
Okay, I attended Advocacy Day, 2 weeks ago. I just wanted to give you guys an update on that. Kathy Hochul has proposed a $60 million, cut to the CHIPS funding program. So we're asking if she restore the funding. We'll see how that moves, but that $60 million cut, would equate to almost $25,000 to the town of Russellville. So it's a significant cut to the CHIPS fund. Next week we'll begin, currently truck 14 is over to Hilltown Truck. We have a bunch of emissions code into that, and it's gone into lift mode. So hopefully we'll hear something on that truck Monday or Tuesday. It's a 2014 Western Star. Gulf Road. I just want to give you an update on Gulf Road. I did reach out to Hans Solderquist, who owns the property on the corner of Gulf Road. I went over what my plans were to do with Gulf Road, and that is to not repair it moving forward. He was okay with that idea. I also spoke with 2 other residents on Gulf Road, both down near Rydell Lane, and they were thrilled with the idea of it being closed. They said, well, there's no through traffic that direction. So what I'd like to do with it, we really can't abandon the road. So what we're going to do is leave it closed under repair indefinitely. And we still do want to get in there. We're going to pull out our old culvert pipes, pull up some of the road fabric that's strewn all over the place, clean things up, and put an access trail in down to state land. Not really a drive, not really a roadway per se, but something enough that somebody could walk on or use an ATV to access some of the property that's down in there. And I don't know if the board has any other opinion on it, but I haven't had any pushback on the idea from any of the landowners up
How
there.
about New York State? They own the property in the middle of that.
New York State DEC. I have not contacted New York State DEC, but that parcel of property is accessible from County Route 10 as well. It still would be accessible from either end of Gulf Road where we would have turnaround areas and places to park, could be walked by foot. Do you have anyone have any other
Should
thoughts on
we
that?
contact these, New York State?
I can reach out and contact DEC, but you know, they have,
We don't wanna go through the trouble of putting in an ATV trail.
well, it's not really an ATV, it'd be an access trail for anybody.
Right.
There is some private land that's kind of accessible through Gulf Road.
Well, the thing what Jason's describing is it would remain a town road, so it would be under repair. So, excuse me, we wouldn't be repairing it, but the right of way would be the same, the public would have the same right to use it, you know. So we wouldn't be giving up any rights to the road, we simply wouldn't be repairing any of the costs.
And in the future, if the town sentiment changes, we would have the ability to go in there and then repair to the road and utilize the road. So, you know, I think it's the best answer.
Agreed.
So that's how we're gonna move forward with that.
All right.
And, let's see here.
So are you gonna reach out to
Yeah, I think that's it.
Pest control?
John, I think John and Carol are gonna work on that.
Melissa is. Right, I saw them on this.
I think we should.
Yeah, we need to do something.
We just don't want, I'm not gonna do it around this building. It could be out there because the stench. I can't even sit in that office, neither could Carol. Huh?
Take a shower.
But John, we haven't used, used poison in a year and all winter long, your offices have been terrible, you know, so I think with dead mice, so,
No.
you know, I think we have to do something to control. So
Maybe under the wires and some of our new trucks that cost you $10,000.
No, I agree with, I'm just gonna
But with
look,
the transfer station there, even in the best scenario, it's a rodent.
Yeah, God, yeah.
but yes.
I want to, thank you for working with the fire departments and getting that mini down, to Preston Hall the other night. That was a dangerous situation. That house, the car went into that house, took out 2 of the main walls, so it's kind of in. I was betting, man, that when they pulled the car out, the place was gonna go into a heap and it stayed up, so we had to do something and, you know,
We saw Brian had called, actually, Albany County had called me at 2:00 in the morning when we had that house fire down in 145. And they asked to use our mini excavator, which I agreed to. Pat and Warren, both of the highway department, are on the fire company, so they operated the equipment.
was a
Which
huge,
I have no problem with as long as we have a qualified operator.
was a huge help for us to make the place safe. I mean, we basically just took it right down to flat. We were able to get all the hot spots out, and we left with it out, so it was definitely an issue.
That concludes my report.
Thank you.
I make a motion to accept the highway superintendent's report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Rick, you gonna set me on this? On the old business, opening the bids for highway mowing for, and refuse.
They're sorted out, John. Anything that's individual is a sole bidder.
Okay,
Anything that's paper clipped, final clipped, are similar items.
so this is the bid from Morabito, on-road diesel, number 2 fuel, diesel kerosene, winter blend, unleaded gasoline, regular and mid-grade. So in here, this is a sole bid. So,
No maker? Wow.
non-inclusive bidding certificate is included. And I don't have to read all those.
Correct.
Yes or no?
Correct.
I do not.
Do not.
The next one is for mowing bids from MGS.
So go ahead and open that, please, and ask Vicky. So our current fuel oil provider is Moravito. And then, so this will make it them next year. Right? Nobody else bids,
Nobody else
unless we
did.
deny the bid, right? Which we're not gonna do. Okay. Because that's been our problem, because we've been main care Moravito, and every freaking time we change, the fire department runs out of oil. So, because we put one on delivery hold and then, you know, so it would be nice this year not to run out of oil in the middle of winter, so.
So it stays the same.
So we won't have to call one and put it on delivery hold and then remember to call the other one and start automatic delivery. We've been pretty diligent about doing delivery hold, but not. So, okay.
Okay, so MGS non-collusive bidding certificate. And they bid for the parks, the EMS building, and that's their bid. But we can't do this anymore. At the end of the mowing season, we have to put it out to bid. Because when we do our budget in October, November, right, we have no numbers. So now our budget, regardless what this says, is nowhere near accurate.
Well, it should be somewhat near accurate unless they went through
Well, we're only
catastrophic.
going by the prior year.
Well, I understand, but it should, I wouldn't use the term nowhere near accurate. I mean, unless they had a,
A
50%.
20% increase. Then what?
well, right. So I, you know, I'm not saying,
But
I
I
don't have a
don't,
problem doing it.
is there an issue, I don't see an issue with having them bid. at
Well,
the-
why would you make that statement for the lawn mowing and not crush
No, I'm
and
saying-
run and fuel oil and everything else?
No, I'm saying for everything.
Oh,
I was just bringing it up,
oh,
like the porta
no,
potties
it
and,
makes perfect sense.
you know, because then our budget process is not as accurate as it could be.
Can you go out to bid in October or in September for prices for 2025? I mean, people are probably not gonna be as, their pencils probably aren't gonna be as sharp, I would imagine.
Well, at least we could try.
If I was bidding fuel oil, I probably wouldn't bid it with a sharp pencil, not knowing what the,
But if you were bidding porta potties,
well,
what difference is it?
We'd have to change the terms now because we're potentially accepting bids for 1 year. So we can't go now until 6 months later in October, we bid, we can't do that. If we accept these bids now.
No, if we accept these bids, I'm just gonna, this is basically, well, the porta potties is 6 months. But at the end of the porta potty season, why can't we put it out to bid?
right, but we're not talking just about porta potties. We're
Talking
talking
about all
about
of
gravel and oil and stuff.
And it's all, the fuel, everything's like 1 year term.
So it's all gonna be locked in for a year. So what you're gonna have to do is reset it. So in next March, go out to bid for 6 months
For 18 months.
or 18 months.
Uh,
So that it ends when you want it to end and then
Get on
start
that
doing.
cycle.
Yeah.
They have to do it for 18 months.
Well, we've been fine, John, ever since you've been doing the budget. So it's not like it's gonna kill you. So if you, I would think about that is next year when we do this, let's do it for 18 and then end it in August or September so that we can start bidding it. I would end it in December 31st and bid it in September for the fiscal year, next fiscal year.
But also with budgeting, and there's always estimating when you're doing a budget.
Yeah.
Always. You're always projecting costs, and estimating costs and whatever.
And it really doesn't. For oil, I don't know stone, but for oil, it doesn't matter now because they're not bidding a flat rate, they're bidding a price over rack, so that doesn't matter. Oil, fuel oil and gas and diesel, that's bid price percents over rack price.
Not always.
Well, Well, it has been the last few times we've done it, and it seems to be the way they're going, so they don't end up eating the,
Yeah, they don't wanna get burnt, so.
and then they got burned when they cut it way down and fuel goes way out, so. I don't know how the stone industry is, if that's a true thing, it's probably just a per ton fee, right, or something.
Your asphalt index would be the highest in September, October. That's when the supply is on, everybody's finishing up. So it'll be a lot higher in October than it is today.
When you bid though, you don't project like for the next year or anything, or you do it based off just what it is that
We
day?
based it off today's index.
Okay.
Really?
So we gotta
I'm sure
work
it's
with
gonna be.
Jason and the vendors on that to make sure that we don't.
And those costs would be
Yeah.
projecting tens of thousands of dollars versus several $1,000s for one contract.
Yeah.
So,
All right, the next one's from Collins, hauling and the transfer bid. So there's only one bid, got a non-conclusive bidding certificate. And you put that on the side. Porta potties. We have two, one from Rentals to Go and one from Big Top. Non-conclusive bidding certificate attached. And Runcible Park, Medusa, and Ellsbury Memorial Park, and all weekly cleaning. And we're gonna put these all on spreadsheets, so we'll know. You guys are so lucky. When I first came here, I had to be It's the same thing. Big Top.
Yeah, I'd like to know where these bids are in relation to what we were paying.
Yeah, well, that's what we're looking on the spreadsheet. Non-conclusive bidding certificate. Right, Vicky, when we do the spreadsheet, we're gonna put it. I'd like to include what we paid last year. And then
Yeah, just so we can see if it went up a lot or
down.
the same, down. If it went down a lot.
Got it.
Okay. Chemung is geotextile fabric with calcium chloride. This is from Oval Stone. I'm just checking to make sure non-conclusive bidding certificate is included. It'd be nice to have one of those letter openings.
I was just gonna say that. They make letter openers. Last year they said, wink, wink.
That's all right, I got it.
They looked right at you, there was no winking.
She's gonna go get you one, John.
Non-conclusive bidding certificate is included, Chemung.
Shimon,
This is for the fabric and calcium chloride. Culvert,
They put the same.
Somebody else looking for me? Somebody else looking for me?
okay, this was Carver, plus crushed stone and asphalt. Non-inclusive building certificate is included. This was from William W. M. Warren Sons. Non-inclusive building certificate. And we'll put this on. A sheet. And, anybody in the audience is welcome to view these or request copies. This one is Peckham, non-inclusive bidding certificate, and all the miscellaneous attachments. Peckham.
Good thing you kept all them straight in that pile.
Huh?
Good thing you kept them all straight in that pile.
Yeah,
The girls physically
I
assaulted,
struggle to open.
justified.
We've got a non-inclusive bidding certificate.
I think it says what it's for, on the right there.
Oh, asphalt.
Yeah, this one is highway material.
John, is it all right if I grab a couple of the ones from Snow Line and Shane wants to take?
Yeah,
pictures
God
of?
bless you. You're straighten out.
Organization is our highest.
This is Peckham.
I am.
Page 2. See that?
Non-inclusive bidding certificate.
I mean, it's Westwood. So that's complete.
Gorman, asphalt, calcium. Non-inclusive bidding certificate.
And we, our overall rate's been lower than years ago. And then I'm just doing this sheet so far.
This is the last one.
Thank you. This is Callahan,
That's the one that's gonna be a problem.
non-inclusive bidding certificate.
And the other thing is too is the enforcement of it. And then like a uniform enforcement across the board, not just random.
Okay, moving on, to old business. We have to amend the authorization to place a legal notice in the enterprise for mowing, baling, and removal of the hay between the town hall and the public safety building. We have to note that the bids are due by 4 p.m. on April 25th, 2024. So I make a motion to amend this authorization to include, the bids are due by 4 p.m. on April 25th.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Fee schedule.
Yeah.
So we have a fee schedule that I'd really like to not only have it, to review it, so that at the next meeting we can move forward. Because there's a lot here. So it shows what we did in 2019. It shows what we're proposing in 2024. And it says that West Shore, Knox, and New Scotland, what their fee schedule is. So, I have a question. At the next meeting, do we have to have a public hearing on the fee schedule?
No, we usually adopt the fee schedule on the annual meeting.
I mean,
I don't think so, because we usually adopt the annual fee schedule or the fee schedule at the annual meeting.
I'm not sure about that, Brian.
I think
Yeah,
we do because it's an amendment to a law.
Yeah.
Of course, they ask you.
So I'll find out about that, but I really would like to, if we don't have to have a public hearing, I really wanna, at the next meeting, get this accomplished.
I think we do have to have a.
I think so as well.
What do I know?
Ask Bill, see what happens, see.
We do.
I'll go with it right now if we don't need one. I mean, I've already looked at these numbers.
Well, let me ask you, can we set if a public hearing is necessary,
Yes,
Yeah, we can set a date now.
we can set a date now
for the next meeting.
at 6:45,
If it's necessary.
if necessary.
So I'll make a motion that we have a public hearing
April 11th.
April 11th at 6:45 PM for the proposed draft 2024 fee schedule. And if in the meantime, after discussion with the attorney, we find that we don't have to do it, then we can exclude.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion
What time
carried.
did you say?
6:45.
We, before you publicize this, if anybody has anything, we should, because if you do it, and then we change it then, we're gonna do it all over again, so
So we
if
should
anybody
review
has
it.
questions before it goes public, like, make sure that, I don't, the only thing that I would have a question on is I think the new septic fee could be a little higher. If the other ones are 2,500, which is ridiculous, I paid 500 in Tennessee, which would probably be page 2. It would be a little higher than $60. But that's just my opinion. If somebody wants to stay that way, or you don't wanna crush people with fees, or Tim thinks that we make up more of that in the building permit, then I'm fine, I don't care. But I just was looking at it, like 2,500 is ridiculous, like it's absurd. But 60, there's like a huge disparity there, like maybe $500. I just paid 500 to get mine done in Tennessee, everything's cheaper than ours.
So Tim, what's involved with an inspection of a leach field tank?
Of a leach, where did you get 2,500 from? What
West
page?
Shore.
Right next to it says Westerlo is 2,500.
So in the
Well,
spreadsheet,
I don't know, it's a spreadsheet on page 2, top line, it says leach field plus tank new, proposed 60, 2019, 60, and it says Westerlo 2,500.
There's no way that that's accurate
Okay, oh,
for a permit fee or an inspection fee.
okay,
That's still,
yeah, no,
I
understood.
don't know what
because
they do over there.
Okay,
Well, the number had to come from somewhere, right?
So it looks like Greenville charges $50 for new and replacement septic.
oh, okay, all right, well, that's, okay.
That's, well, I just happen to have Greenville,
okay.
and that shows under septic systems, new and replacement, $50.
Okay, then I'll shut up. I just saw 2,500, I was like, damn.
That's installed. That's. the-
Yeah.
Yeah.
By a tank. All right,
So I'll
Yeah.
find out
yeah,
from the town attorney if we need,
And if we review this, or soon, and we find a discrepancy,
well, it needs to probably be done like by tomorrow, because you gotta put this in, right, when you publish, it's gotta be available for
Or-
the public.
It
or
does.
can we talk to get it in, as long as Bill has it by the public hearing? You just need the final draft by the public
No,
hearing.
he doesn't, people need to be able to view it, so once they know there's a public hearing, they gotta be able to view the document, so I guess we're probably safe right up until the first person asks for a document, then you're
And
committed to
the legal
this.
notice won't go into the paper until next Thursday.
Okay,
So you essentially have a week.
okay.
Okay, so if there's any questions, we can communicate via email.
Yeah.
And on Tuesday, I'll finalize.
Okay,
So by Thursday, you put in the paper.
sounds good,
Fair enough?
fair enough.
Okay. New business. There is no new business. Any audience comments, please?
Where do I go up or do I just?
Right
Right here
there,
in
at
the
the
podium.
podium.
Go to the podium?
Right here, the floor is yours.
So my name, I know many of you, but I don't know all of you. My name is Barbara Husick. I've been a lifelong resident of Rensselaerville. And I wanted to request the availability of the senior van. And the reason is, my mom just passed away. She's been up in Glens Falls with my daughter. I'm going up, she's been invalid for about a year. I've been going up twice a week to help take care of her. Give my daughter a break. She recently passed. She lived here, all my young life and until about the 90s. So she has been a community resident. She's been, done a couple terms on the library board, helped I think with the Historical Society, helped out with People Made It Happen Here, which was written in the 70s. So, given attrition and that, she's in her mid-80s, given that the people that she knows, there's not that many, I wanted to give them the opportunity to be able to go up and pay respects to the memorial service. It's an hour and a half drive up there, so that's why I'm asking. I don't think there'd be that many people. I don't know yet. I have to reach out to them. We want to have the memorial service, April 14th in Glens Falls. So this is all tentative. I'm going to reach out to some people and see. And just like to make sure that they have that opportunity and not have to drive up.
What day of the week is it?
It's a Sunday.
So we would have to see if we agree, we have to see if
I talked to Victoria yesterday.
one of our drivers are available.
Okay. Tentative, I have to see if.
In the alternative, you could run someone else's license if they wanted to go.
Yeah.
Run it through our insurance. And we wouldn't have to ask one of our volunteers.
All right, well, I'll have to. It's something we have to think of.
When is it?
It is April 14th, it's a Sunday, it'll be noon to say 2,
Well, I definitely want to check with the town attorney,
Sure.
because if it was our driver,
Oh, yeah, because you have liability things, right? I get it.
right. If it was our driver, I'd be more. Dependent, to say, yes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm sorry about your mom.
Yeah.
Obviously, first of all, my only reservation would be is that we're then opening the door for, even regardless of it is, substantial, but it's personal use for the vehicle when we're trying to keep it for doctors and stuff like that. So if you do it once, then, where do you draw the line and, we don't have, next person's in Buffalo, so, do we, and I'm just trying to play devil's advocate, because this doesn't seem unattainable, but you do it now without rules and regulations, you have nothing to stand on when the next person comes and says, my mom passed away and her funeral's in Buffalo.
Right.
Or the next one's in Pittsburgh, or somewhere like that, so, I think you need to ask that to the attorney, like, do we have the opportunity on a case-by-case basis to grant and or deny the use of vehicle?
64-mile radius, how far is it?
Oh, it's over that, I believe, I'm sorry. It's like an hour and a half up.
But,
No.
so I think when you have the conversation with the attorney, that should be it. And if we don't have the opportunity to yay or nay it on a case-by-case basis, I would
But even
support that.
we also should see which people from Russellville would like to go.
I'm CPAST on Sunday, so I'm still like really early yet. I'm doing some planning, which is not my forte, by the way.
Okay.
But, I'm privately, whether also, whether privately someone has a van, maybe it can just be private. I would frankly feel more comfortable with that, because I don't want to present you guys with a big liability.
Yeah,
Um,
honestly, I'm not as concerned about the liability as setting a standard, right? So
I hear you.
that, people just suck, right? And if we make one opportunity, somebody's gonna exploit that and take advantage of it. and
Fourth
they're
grade
gonna-
rules.
You know,
Yeah, I get
you
it.
know what I mean? So I just wanna make sure that we're not gonna put ourselves into hardship.
I get it.
Just check and then you'll get back to her.
I'll get,
Somebody will get back to, yeah.
Okay, so we'll just be in contact
it
and
won't be till Tuesday though.
that's fine. I even thought, like, I know you have another meeting on the 11th, and I can probably be more.
Well, I'd like to have you, I mean, you gotta be able to plan, I'd like to have
Right.
some indication. up until then.
Well, this is fair, as long as we just keep in contact, and I will
Okay.
try to make
Yeah.
arrangements. Thank you so much.
All right, once again, we're sorry for your loss.
Yes. Okay.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
764 54 0.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Maybe second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Thank you.
I made a motion.